Hello, film fans. Welcome to the Film vs. Film podcast. My name is Martin Harries, your host, and I'm joined by the film encyclopedia man, Boaz Dix. We are a couple of filmmakers on occasion, but mainly can't stop yapping about movies. On this podcast, every episode we pick a topic from a film that's coming out at the cinema or on VOD. Myself and Boaz pick our favourite film from that topic, and we battle it out to decide which film will become the greatest film of all time, according to two film geeks from Wiltshire, England. If you enjoy this podcast, please leave us a review and subscribe. Hello and welcome to the Film vs. Film podcast. This week we are talking about the Danish legend that is Mads Mikkelsen. He made his name as the villain in Daniel Craig's first Bond film as Le Chiffre in Casino Royale. As ever, I'm joined by the Mr. Encyclopedia Man, that is Mr. Boaz Dix. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, he was the one that scratched James Bond's testicles.
As you pointed out at the end of last week.
Yeah.
Very correctly, of course.
I think I'll always remember him like that. It should be on his gravestone.
All right.
Scratched James Bond.
We're not even a minute in and we've already mentioned balls.
That's what you get when you have a guest called Dix, Boaz Dix. We're always going to talk about genital. Anyway.
Interestingly, both our picks don't involve Mads Mikkelsen as a villain, which is kind of cool, actually, as my pick is a Western he did called The Salvation. This film is kind of just a very, fairly low-budget Western, shot digitally, a Danish Western, actually, from Christian Levering, and it stars Eva Green as well, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and a footballer.
Oh, yeah, it does.
I've literally just forgotten his name now.
the French one.
Eric Cantona, there you go.
Yeah, there we go.
So this one is about this Danish soldier called John. He's bringing his family over to America, and as they travel on a stagecoach to his homestead, they're traveling with two outlaws that have just been released from jail, and they kill his wife and son, and basically he takes revenge on the people responsible. Really, it's just a very simple revenge story in a Western setting. Very simple and just really cool. Yeah, just really stylized, and I quite enjoyed it. I think when we were going to do this, I didn't really think about it too much. I was just like, oh, Western, oh, Mads Mikkelsen and Western. I'm picking that one, The Salvation. So. Let's talk directing first. What did you think about the directing, Boaz?
Yeah, I thought it was really nice. A lot of, I think it's almost a requirement in a Western. You've got to have wide shots of the environment and do you know what I mean? The sort of desolate vibe from it. Yeah.
I love the moonlit scene, actually, after his family gets killed in the coach and he's running after the coach.
Yeah.
And he finds his son and it just all looks really stylized. A very interesting, moonlit night scenes with the cinematography. It doesn't look terribly natural, but I think you get used to that fairly quickly. And there's a kind of a really ominous reveal of Marie's leg in in a toilet, as we call it. You just see her leg, and that was it. As Mads approaches, the toilet from the as the camera's inside it. But there was one bit in that scene where the lighting just didn't look natural at all. I was just where's the moonlight here? It's completely lit, there's no dark shadows at all on him, really. I was just all right. Didn't look amazing there, but a lot of the other shots I quite enjoyed that moonlit style. Yeah, I felt with the cinematography, the saturation is quite high on a lot of the landscapes. There's a lot of orange and teal in there. Well, very, a lot of bright browns, if you know what I mean. Which kind of gives it that very earthy feel, I think. There's a few shots I quite liked. The reveal of Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character, Henry Delarue. There's when he jumps off the horse. There's an amazing with his amazing dust coat, that amazing I don't know what color you'd call that, maroon. I want that coat.
Yeah.
I want it.
Uh,
He jumps
easy,
off.
Gollum. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He jumps off the horse right into camera shot, and it kind of tilts right up into the conversation with Jonathan Pryce. It's quite a nice tilt there with a tracking shot up his body to reveal his character.
Yeah, that
I
was
thought
good.
was quite nice.
Yeah.
You kind of like know immediately that this guy's the bad guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely. Do you remember the scene where the wife of the, Eva Green, that's the one. So she's the wife of the guy Mad Mikkelsen killed that, raped his wife and killed his son. I like that kind of scene where she's like trying to get onto the train. One, it's like, I don't know, it's just really tense just how it was done, back and forth, always looking from her perspective at like the gunman and trying to get to the station and then onto the train, and you're hearing
that was quite good.
Yeah, boot spurs behind her, and she turns around and freaks out, and it's just some guy with spurs, and just the whole scene, and looking out the window and seeing horses. Just that whole scene had quite a lot of back and forth. Yeah, quite like that. The sort of paranoia you could get from the
I like
camera.
I basically liked any of the tracking shots involving boots and spurs.
Yeah.
It just
Spurs
gets
are
you
good.
right in the mood of a West. It's just a really satisfying sound.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Of tension building. I think the violence from Henry's character is really brutal at times. There's one particular scene where, like, the whole town has been gathered and he's addressing them all. Well, he doesn't talk to them. He just randomly shoots 3 people in the street.
Yeah.
Just, no chit chat or anything. It's just brutal as hell, straight in the head. And it's just like, whoa, okay.
Yeah. No, that guy is basically
that
the devil. Well, he basically said to them that if they don't find the killer in 2 hours, he's gonna kill 2 people. It's like, that's not enough time to find anybody. And so they bring him an old woman and a cripple, and he shoots the cripple, and I'm not sure if that's politically correct or whatever. He can't use his legs. Shoots the guy and shoots the woman, and then shoots some other guy. And I like the line where he says something like, you gave me an old woman and half a man. So, that doesn't seem fair to me. So that other guy, he's on your head. And it's like, you're like, what? Yeah.
But I was expecting more of like, a chit chat there and a bit more of some more menacing lines before he does it. But no, he's just like, nope. Just looks around and picks his 3,
Yeah. So I suppose this is more on to the screenplay part. I think, I'll talk a little bit about the camera work. I do like the fact that it does build up like sort of tension in scenes and, paranoia, basically.
Yeah.
You get that quite a few times. I think basically the main thing I really want to talk about it, I suppose, falls more into the screenplay category.
Okay.
I quite like the screenplay, but and I've got nothing like special to say about like the camera work,
No, there's...
Yeah.
No, yeah, you're right. I think there's a few like nice tracking shots. But
Yeah,
it's
there are
not
nice tracking shots. Yeah,
particularly
and
special.
and I like scenes again which build sort of paranoia and tension. So like for example, when he goes to the town, he collects his money, and then immediately you see gunmen all around him, and he's trying to run, and it's splicing and and what have you, and you get him. It's just a good usage of quite a lot of successive cuts between the character panicking and his perspective of like the chaos going around him that really gets you that oh my god, he's in trouble. And they do that quite a bit. So when he's hiding from them, when they've killed his brother as well, and then they're dragging him around.
That bit was great. Yeah,
that was really good. And he's remaining hidden, and you're like from his perspective and like looking at him, and just it's really good. And they do that quite a bit. And as I said, probably one of my favorite scenes is just kind of tension. Just the tension of it is, the lady on the train. I think that was really well done. So that I would definitely prize it for. The action at the end is pretty cool as well. That was
I quite like the action at the end. There's a really creative death. From one of the guys.
There are a few really creative deaths.
The kid who works in the shop, I think, that insists on helping John, like, take out all of Delarue's men and Delarue himself, obviously. And he's like on the roof. He sets himself on the roof, and he's got like a can of propane or something, and he shoots shoots a guy from across the street, and there's another goon. I guess he doesn't realize he's in there.
Yeah.
He hears him, move around, and he slowly walks up to the upper floor, and Eric Cantona's there as well, and he shoots him through the window.
Through the
roof, and then
it's
you clearly hear
completely
him.
It's just like holes into him, perforated in it, just loads and loads of holes, and you think, okay, and you hear a smash, and you think it's going to be blood that's going to pour out of the holes, but it's
you see the can come through.
It's the fuel bottle he's got, and that fucking idiot is smoking. And he goes up. See, smoking kills. It's bad for you, man. It's bad for you.
And he gets burned alive.
alive.
And then Cantona just like, oh, for God's sake, and then just shoots him dead.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. He shot him in the head. Doesn't mess around. And another really cool death, or it was a maiming and then a death, is where he's hiding in like a horse stable or something like that, and he's blowing him away, Mads Mikkelsen. And,
under the floorboards.
Yeah, under the floorboards. And they're shooting for him and he disappears. This guy has an inkling he might be under the floorboards of the stable, and he puts his ear to the floorboard and just boom!
His eye,
Yeah.
His eye,
Yeah. And Mads stabs him.
I was just like,
face.
nah, I've seen too many films where that happens.
I thought it was cool.
I was like, yep, he's going to get his...
Yeah. No, I thought he was
I liked it.
I thought he was going to shoot him. I thought he was going to shoot him with a gun. I thought, okay, he's going to come there and he's going to blow his head off. But no, he stabbed him in the head. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that it was quite slow, it took his time with that, and you're just like, yeah, he's gonna lose his eye in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that. I liked, as you mentioned before, when he's got that big rifle and he's shooting the guy when he's under the floorboards, and he's shooting a guy across from him because the barn is burning down, and and there's a really nice, quite quick push in, along under the floorboards, along his rifle to his eyes, and then boom, he shoots the guy several times. I thought that was really nice and stylized and really cool.
Yeah.
Moment. So, do you have a favorite shot?
I suppose this might be shot or maybe line, but where he was at the end, the bad guy's like shot him in the shoulder, and he's gonna kill him. I think this might qualify as line. And he was like, I underestimated you. You're a good soldier. You killed my men, but you won't kill. And then bang, he gets shot.
Yeah, he's like, fuck you. I'm not letting you finish your line.
Yeah. I like that. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I think I'll probably go with the burning guy, because I didn't expect that, really. I thought it was just quite funny.
It was a cool death.
The only genuine, funny moment.
Yeah. It was a pretty ingenious death. It's kind of funny and sad at the same time, because I thought, wow, that's the coolest thing ever. And then, you realise, what was it? It goes from Mads Mikkelsen's perspective, where he's blowing away people, and you see that the kid has fallen off the roof. So, he did kill that guy in an awesome way, but he's dead,
Yeah. So what score would you give directing?
I think I might give it a 7.2. It's just generally because of I can't think of anything too unique shot-wise or too stand out, It's still good. Still very well done.
I mean, there are some really nice tracking shots and some really great camera work that just brings out this just Western vibe. Because for me, Westerns are not necessarily historical films. That it's a genre in itself. It's a stylized genre in itself. Of the way they're done, and I think the director does achieve that in moments.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of stereotypical characters. I would probably go maybe 7.5. I think.
Okay.
And some of the night stuff looks great, really stylized, but sometimes it doesn't work, and I wouldn't be surprised if they shot that, day for night, All right, screenplay then, Mr. Encyclopedia Man.
Yeah.
What you got for me?
The one thing I thought was interesting about the screenplay is just how fast things progressed. To me, I don't know, I found it is somewhat formulaic, but at the same time, it's kind of surprising how quickly it gets to its destination. So within the first, it's 5 or 10 minutes, his family is killed, To me, that blows my mind, how you can establish this so quick. This is It's almost like, I don't know, 10 minutes in, yeah, his family's killed. In the next 5 minutes after that, he's killed their murderers, or less than that. I thought that was going to be the rest of the film. Yeah. No, he's killed their murderers in like the first 5 minutes.
Definitely.
In 10 minutes after that, so you got maybe 25 minutes to 30 minutes in the film, the bad guy's introduced, who's now hunting him, yeah? And I thought, oh, okay, so the film is going to be him hunting him. In the next 5 minutes, he's captured, you know? So I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, yeah, to me, this just seemed like entire episodes, you know, just done in like 10 minutes. I was like, wow, this film is really going for it. So to me, that kind of surprised me from I suppose, a screen story point of view.
Agree, you know.
Because, you know, I suppose, maybe in real life, if a guy kidnaps your family on a coach, I mean, maybe it wouldn't get that far, and I don't know. It just happened so quickly, like, the setup of the film. Like, I was 40 minutes in, and I was like, where the hell is this going to go? Literally, he's captured, tied to a pole. Yeah, and then his brother dies in, like, the next 10 minutes. It's, like, so much in such a short period of time. So, yeah, it was a lot. It was more than I was expecting. The film is quite short, though. It's like an hour and a half or something, yeah. But it gets through a lot of plot very quick.
There's no fat on the bones in this film at all, you know. There's no overly long scenes at all, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It moves along really quick.
Yeah, it really just cuts to the chase. It's like, even when, you know, the bad guy was like, you first see him and he says, you know, as we were talking, 2 hours, you don't find... I thought the rest of the film even might be the townspeople trying to find him in the next 2 hours. It's like, no, the next minute, 2 hours have gone by and he just shoots them. It's just, it goes at such a pace. Yeah, I think you're right. There really isn't any, there isn't any meat on there isn't any kind of flack. There isn't any fluff. It's just, even like, there's offhanded thing when he's in the stagecoach with the guy that killed his wife, you know, before he obviously kills the wife. And he's talking about his wife. Yeah. You know, because he's like, oh, I like a woman who doesn't talk, you know, stuff like that about his wife. He's what the fuck, and he's like, yeah, my wife, she doesn't talk much. She got her tongue cut out by Indians. I thought that would be like a throwaway line, but she's an important character in like the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, Madeline, Eva Green's character. I guess ultimately for me, the bad guys kind of win anyway, because right at the end you see this big pull-out shot, and you see all these oil mills all dotted around the town. You know, it just becomes an oil farm kind of thing at the end of this destroyed, burnt town. Because obviously Delarue is helping these oil barons, railroad people, just buy up the town so they can just cover it with oil mills. Yeah. So it is kind of a bit of a downbeat ending, even though, you know, John kills everyone, and he rides off into the distance with Eva Green. You know, there's still a bit of like of reality setting in there. You know, with the fact that, you know, with the Industrial Revolution, you know, nothing will stop this. You know what? No matter how much killing happens, there's always going to be some other guy with a lot of money to buy up all this oil. Yeah, which I found quite interesting with that shot at the end. What did you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's it's largely true. It's I agree with that. You did get the sense, like, you know, the bad guy. This is more of a personal thing for him, but he is working with bigger, badder people. Yeah. You know, and you see a short scene with him when he's talking to them, and he's collecting deeds everywhere. You know, so you know. They've probably got a lot of guys doing this, and it's a kind of more nefarious scheme. Mad Mikkelsen's even uncovers that. Again, it's just the breakneck speed of the, you know, every scene is very important. You know, it's like But when he corners, is it the mayor who's also like the Undertaker or something?
Jonathan Pryce.
Yeah. Because the sheriff is almost like a priest as well. I don't know. It's like. They've got a combined job, so I don't know. The economy.
Douglas Henshaw. Yeah, fucking love Douglas Henshaw. I watched when it was on Shetland, like a crime BBC TV show. He's amazing in that.
Oh, okay,
it's just really great to see him in a movie like this.
Yeah,
Douglas Henshaw.
Yeah, let's try and check that out.
Yeah, he's a really interesting character. He's a bit of a, you know, a yes man, I guess, to Delarue, and very much like a cowardly type character, I would say, because there's a line when he's talking to John while he's in custody, and he says, "Sometimes you got to sacrifice a single sheep to save the rest. I'm just a shepherd guarding his flock." You know, and it's kind of just like he's saying, yeah, sorry, you're going to have to die to save the rest of them. You know, there's nothing I can do. Which, in reality, in the film, it's not the case. It's just, you know, grow some balls, get some men with arms, and get rid of this Daru family, you know?
Yeah. I don't know,
which
like...
is ultimately what John does.
Yeah, it is
know?
what he does.
So, with only a kid next to him.
Yeah, and he does tell the sheriff to piss off, basically. But he is very... I suppose self-righteous, quite sanctimonious. I thought he was like just the town preacher, but he is the sheriff. But he does speak in a very, you know, godly, holier-than-thou way. But you can tell, even by his face, talking to Daru, mentioning Daru, seeing Daru, he's very scared of him.
And I guess this film certainly does have references to Catholicism, you know, and religious aspects, which certainly Italian spaghetti westerns certainly do use a few times from Sergio Leone, you know, because John, you know, he gets you know, put into custody in jail, but then you know, he's strung up and, you know, basically left for dead. And when his brother Peter dies, you know, he's in an even more worse situation. He's nearly, you know, he could die in that moment, and if he doesn't find another homestead to drink from the well, but he doesn't drink from it anyway because it's all full of oil. You know, and then he builds himself back up, I guess, to take them all down. It's a very like simple storytelling device, which westerns often use, and I found it quite a nice storytelling device that they carry on with in this film. There is some great humor in this film as well. Like, Henry murders 3 people, and then Henry like doubles the price of protection in the town, and he says to Jonathan Pryce, the mayor, "Are we in agreement?" He's like, yes, of course, yes. And then Morgan says, "I thought we might be." You know, so deadpan and dry. It's like after he just kills 3 people.
Yeah,
you know, so nonchalantly.
Yeah, he's quite threatening. What was it? He really loves like his brother's widow, Eva Green or whatever.
Madeline. Yeah,
Madeline. You know, he's always talking a very, you know, like princess, yeah, he sleeps with her and stuff like that, and just wants her. And it's like, you know, you could tell how much I've wanted you, I suppose. And then when she leaves and he catches her again, he's like to his men. I thought that was quite where he's like one of the guys, the French footballer or whatever, like touches her face. Yeah, touches her face, and he goes, "Oh, you know, it looks like looks like you're in luck or whatever. Luck has saved you. So all you guys, when you're finished with her, you know, you can each have a turn and then slit her throat." And you're like, "Oh, fucking hell!" But he says that quite, you know, again, just cold, just, you know,
yeah, just a dirty man.
Yeah, almost like a little sort of smirk on his face, like a little. Yeah.
Eric Cantona does get one like fun moment when they bring John out into the street and he's met.
Yeah,
with,
this is my I think favorite line in the thing. I thought it was quite.
And funny. he asks him, "Oh, did you fight in a war?" And he's like, "Who was your enemy?" Germans. And he says, "Germans, you have my respect."
Yeah, and punches him in the stomach. Yeah,
that was a terrible French accent.
That was awful.
I was practicing, but I fucked that up. Amazing.
Yeah, that was really bad.
Eric Cantona.
Yeah.
It's just so funny every time I think of it. I'm like, he's a fucking footballer. What the hell is he doing in this film? He's not Vinnie Jones. Christ.
Yeah, no. What was it? Did you watch John Wick 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, in the library. That guy's a basketballer. The big guy.
He?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I don't know basketball, but I saw this afterwards on like YouTube and clips of him doing basketball. He was just a regular basketballer. He's
like 7 foot or something, isn't he?
Yeah, well, I think most basketballers are, right? You know, if you're a 6 foot basketballer, you're a short man, you know, you're a fucking midget or something.
But my favourite line, which made me completely laugh out loud, is when Peter Jansen, he sat against the bar. He goes to sit against the bars, and he says, well, some of his monologue I'll read out. And he says to the guy in the jail, "Sorry to turn my back on you, but the view is better from here. Got you pretty good, didn't I? I mean, you were ugly before I knocked your teeth out, but now I hope you've got a woman that loves you, because you ain't gonna find one with that face.
Yeah, yeah,
And it
that was
goes
really
on
good.
and on like that.
Yeah.
The end bit's a bit rude, so I won't read that. But
Yeah, the guy gets so pissed off, he comes to beat the shit out of him, and he
yeah, I just
grabs
thought
his
that was
hand.
hilarious.
Yeah, I thought that was good.
Just quite a clever use of writing, just to
Yeah, no, it is his brother.
infuriate this character, to get, to try and hit him, to get close to him so he can, knock him out. Yeah, that was my favourite line from Peter. That was just hilarious.
Yeah, that was really funny.
You got a favourite line?
Yeah, probably the wars against Germany thing. I thought that was quite funny.
Oh yeah,
you've been in many
Germans.
wars. Yeah.
Germans, you have my respect.
Yeah, Germans. Yeah, I quite like that. Thought
Cool.
that was really good.
Screenplay score.
Yeah, I might put this quite high, I suppose, because
Yeah.
I quite liked it. So maybe like an 8.5.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure I'll go as high as that. I think I quite like the references to, religious Catholicism, kind of referring back to Sergio Leone films. That was interesting. And the whole oil industry developing in America at the time, which is nothing new in Westerns. I think certainly they've covered that, both of those subjects, a hell of a lot better in other films. But why I picked this, it's just nice to see a film like this, a Danish Western with Mads Mikkelsen as the hero, as an anti-hero. It's just really cool to see. In 2014 it came out. So yeah, I think I'll probably go 7.9. All right, acting. I think the acting on the Stagecoach is actually really good, right from the off, from the actors. You feel the tension and the awareness right from the first moment they get on the coach, and the moment where Marie gets dragged over by Paul de la Rue, played by Michael Roman James. You think there's no way John can really save his family, and the terror on his face is quite remarkable, really. It's just like, oh shit, how am I going to get out of this? And ultimately he gets kicked out of the coach. He's just got so much range, Mads Mikkelsen. He's really extraordinary.
Yeah, definitely.
One thing that made me laugh, we're not recording video on this, but Eric Cantona's first close-up shot I found quite funny, because it just looked like he's just overacting so much. And it's when early on in the scene where De La Rue just kills those three people, there's a shot of him on Cantona where he's just got the corner of his mouth right up to his eye or something. Like he's got an itch in his moustache. I'm just like, oh my god, what's he doing?
Yeah, that was funny.
Just look a little bit pissed off. Don't, do that. It just looks odd.
Yeah.
I really liked Eva Green's performance in this. She communicates so much in her acting, because obviously she's pretty much mute in this story. And the introduction to her is really great. She's clearly mourning the death of her husband, and Henry says to her that he will avenge the death of her husband. But then Green slowly turns around and puts her finger to her lips just to tell him to be quiet. And then right there, you're like, yeah, she's got some sort of authority over him. She won't take too much shit at all. Certainly in that moment, because obviously Jeffrey D. Morgan wants to be with her. He wants her to be his woman. So it's just quite a nice moment from Eva Green of power, if you will, or attempt at power towards Dean's character, De La Rue.
Yeah, I really like the bad guy. I thought he was just a lot of fun to watch.
I mean, Jeffrey D. Morgan just has this great presence and demeanor about him that every time he enters the room, he's the bomb.
Yeah.
He's the big presence in the room, and everyone's looking at him. I think the costuming in this film is amazing. I want all those clothes.
Even the dresses,
especially his jacket,
even the black dresses, and
yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Let's have those
corsets, fuck it.
Yeah, they'll be a good collection for me skin dresses as well, and all that.
Buffalo
From last
Bill.
week.
Oh my god!
No, I'm joking. Seriously, I'm joking.
Yeah, stop doing the wiener dance. Put your clothes back on.
But yeah, just the costuming is amazing. And I said before, I want that coat. I want it.
Yeah. No, I just like his energy. He's always. It just looks like he's having a hell of a good time. But, it's like he likes being really bad. And I do think I agree with you. There's a presence of him. There's just like an authority, you know.
And we talked a little bit about Peter's death, as you see, because John, when Peter frees John, you know, they're on the run, and Peter leaves him, and he said, "I'll be back soon." And obviously, as we've said on this podcast before, don't say that because you ain't going to come back. And when it gets to the next morning, John sees a group of riders coming across, and he hides behind a rock, and he gets a glimpse of someone being dragged behind by horses, and he sees that it's his brother Peter, you know, flat on his face being dragged along by these horses. And there's a shot on his face, it just completely drops. He just changes his expression so quickly, and it's just so well done from Mads Mikkelsen, you know, even because that shot on Peter is quite quick. There's no 100% clarity there is John, you know, for me, but you know immediately from Mads Mikkelsen, from his expression, from Mads Mikkelsen's expression, that it is him, you know, it is his brother because of his face. You just know it's written all over his face.
Yeah,
you know, it's great moment from him. Did you like that bit as well?
Yeah, 100%. And I agree with you. You know, I wasn't exactly sure who I was seeing being dragged, you know, because he's being dragged face first, like he's just But yeah, you can absolutely tell, you know. Yeah, camera looks at him, he looks absolutely horrified.
So what's your favourite performance then?
Yeah. So, I love the guy that played Peter, especially when he talks that smack to that sheriff. I thought that was great. I like Mads Mikkelsen in it. I agree with you. Like, he goes through a range of emotions. You feel very sorry for him and, you know, very worried for him as well. I will say I do prefer the bad guy.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yeah, Weston Negan. It's just something about his energy, you know. He's just, I don't know, he's just really entertaining to watch.
It's a really good cast, this, to be fair. Jonathan Pryce, Eva Green, Mads Mikkelsen, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and Eric Cantona.
Yeah, a lot of really good performances. Yeah, so I think I'd put him on the top.
For me, it's between Mads, Eva Green, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan. And I think I'll probably go the same, actually, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, because you can tell he's really enjoying himself, and he knows that he doesn't need to do too much. So I think if he plays it, you know, with too much expression, the character won't work, you know, certainly in this genre. So, and he certainly recognises that. Yeah, so I'm going to go with Jeffrey Dean Morgan as well. So what's your acting score, Mr. Encyclopedia Man?
I might, I'm trying to think, I'll give it an 8.8.
Yeah, I'll go like 8.3, I think. And also with Eva Green, I think the fact that she literally has no lines, possibly not the most wise choice these days to give a woman your main lead actress to have no lines, but at the same time, it liberates the character a bit of like, yeah, I gotta act your ass off to get the storytelling across, which I think she does amazingly. So yeah, 8.3 I'll go for acting. All right, let's add up the scores then for The Salvation. The Salvation gets 48.2.
Nice.
Right, let's move on then to your pick,
it's
not my pick.
Yeah, we did your pick. Yeah.
Yes, I picked both of them. So what is your pick? You
I haven't even said. It's a mystery. It's called The Hunt.
Yeah, from 2012, not the recent one from last year.
Yeah. Which
is an American one that was quite controversial. But this is from Thomas Vinterberg, and he's releasing a new film as well with Mads Mikkelsen as well, which he has. He could get some Oscar nominations for that, which is Another Round. So that'll be interesting to see from Thomas Vinterberg and Mads Mikkelsen.
So basically the film is about a kindergarten teacher called Lucas, played by Mads Mikkelsen, who gets on really well with the children. He's just like he's the most fun teacher ever. You know, he's just playing around, he's just being cool. And one of the little girls who is the daughter of his best friend,
Clara.
Clara. She basically has like a crush on him. and she's very small. She must be like 3 or 4, right?
Yeah.
When they're playing around at kindergarten, he kisses her. She kisses him. Yeah, let's not get that the wrong way around. He is a completely innocent guy. There's nothing bad about this dude whatsoever. But she kisses him, and of course he freaks out, understandably, and tells her off. And it's like, you're not allowed to do that. That's wrong.
In a nice way.
In a nice way. He doesn't go off the handle. He's like, only your mummy and daddy. You don't ever do that. But she gets kind of, I don't know, quite sad about it. Yeah. And there was like a previous scene where he's in a house because him and his friend are like organizing a trip and stuff, and there's all this chaotic stuff going on. Their kids are playing, his son and her brother, so his friend's son, and they're watching like porn on this camera phone or something.
Yeah,
and she sees a bit of it by accident. So she's feeling quite rejected. So when she has to go home, and one of the other teachers called Greta or whatever, was it Greta?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She asks her what's wrong, and she's like, I don't like Lucas anymore, the Mads Mikkelsen's character. Oh, what's wrong with him? Oh, I just don't like him anymore. And she says something like about he's got a penis like a rod or something, yeah?
A big rod.
Yeah, a penis like a big rod, and he's like, "What the fuck did you say?" She doesn't react like you can see. It's more nuanced of like, that's a strange thing to say. I think over the course of the film, it stews in her brain like, "What the hell?"
And then this lie, just gets bigger and bigger. It gets in people's heads, and it goes from there, basically. Yeah, this one's really interesting, certainly with the well, in all aspects, I think, for me, in directing, acting, and screenplay, there's some really interesting things to talk about. Let's go with directing first, as always. And there's another close-up shot of Lucas when he sees a man walking into the kindergarten to meet Greta, the boss. And it's really effective because they actually use a wide lens, so it captures what wide lenses do when you use a close-up shot on an actor. You get more of their face and more of the back. You basically get more of everything, And it's certainly really effective in this case because it just expresses so much of Mads Mikkelsen's anxieties in the situation in this film.
There's a lot of shots which seem like quite handheld, which to me, I think it makes it feel a lot more real. It's more like it's an actual thing that's going on. The story is even quite grounded, so I think that's it's a good choice to not make it like too cinematic and not too flashy. Just make it fairly down to earth, fairly gritty. So shots I really liked where he had to bury his dog. I mean, that was pretty.
I think that's probably my favorite scene, actually.
Yeah, I think I would agree. It's super. Like the dog is built up through the entire film. Everybody loves this
Fanny.
fucking dog. Yeah, Fanny. Everybody loves this bloody dog. It's always around. It's always he's always with it. And then some guy throws a brick through his window. And this is after he's been like acquitted.
Yeah.
And then they go out, and there's a body bag, and it's like unzips it, and just freaks out. And
I was so pissed off.
Yeah.
I wanted to go through the screen and fucking join Marcus.
Exactly.
And just like, let's kill this bastard.
No, man, I would have gone so
killed the
far.
dog.
I'd have gone so
the
far.
dog didn't do anything. What are you doing?
I'm just saying, I would have burnt that whole fucking town to the ground. Just everybody.
Yeah. John Wick their ass.
John Wick the whole fucking thing. I'd just kill everybody. Kill, the men, the women, scissor kick Clara in the head.
Kill people, that's fine. But kill the dog, absolutely not.
Yeah, no, you're gonna die, man. You're gonna die.
But I loved, actually, the directional choices in leading up to that scene.
Yeah, but when he's doing it in the rain as well, that shot-wise, I think that's amazing.
Yeah, because, as you said, Lucas comes home, and he's with Marcus, his son, that joins him. And they're just talking in the kitchen, in wide shots. And then, all of a sudden, there's just this shot on the window. And you're just like, oh, why have we got a shot on the window? And then boom, the rock goes straight through. And it's just like the director's like, yeah, a brick's going to come through in a minute.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you pre-warning. And
Yeah.
that's what I got from it anyway. And you're just like, oh, what? Why? Oh, shit. And it's so surprising because it's kind of like a double bluff of, if you will, like, because normally you'd have that in a wide shot or a bit more coverage, I would say, a bit more suspense building. But the only suspense building is literally 3 or 4 seconds, of a fairly tight shot on the window, and then the brick comes through. I've never really seen that before. I thought it was really clever.
Especially it comes at a point where narratively, about the last 5 minutes of the film, you think the worst is behind them. You have all of these rumors. He's broken up with his girlfriend. His son is in a state. His friends hate him. Just everything's going absolutely tits up. He's been hauled off to jail. He's going to court. All of this stuff, and then it's like, for that previous 5 minutes, he's been acquitted. He's coming home. He's seeing his son. He's cooking with his friends. He's everything's great, and so they're just chilling and having fun. And then bang, So, and then it gets a lot worse from there on out. It's just a lot worse because it doesn't matter what the law might say. Like, everybody still 100% believes he's a paedophile. So
I really liked the end, actually. That last shot, it made me jump out of my skin. Everyone's happy families again. Mads Mikkelsen is welcomed again because it's like 4 years later or something. Mads Mikkelsen is joined back into.
I don't think it might be as much as 4 years. It might be a year later.
Oh yeah, something like that.
Because otherwise the little girl would be like double her age.
Yeah, and and then he's basically hunting on his own, and then
because his son is finally a man. He goes for his first hunt. Yeah. Sorry, don't interrupt.
And then all of a sudden, someone takes a shot at him, and that it was just so shocking. I did not expect that at all. Again, I nearly lobbed my phone through the window.
Yeah, but I think there's kind of a running theme actually. Like, two of the most shocking parts of the film come at the halfway mark and right at the end, and both at periods where you think everything's settled down. Like, the first half is like, oh man, this is stressful, and then halfway through the film you're like, okay, this is over, and then somebody tries to kill him, and then kills his dog. You're like, whoa, and then at the end everything seems to be sorted. It seems like in the first half he's won the legal battle, and in the second half he's won, hearts and minds. His friend doesn't believe that shit about him anymore. All of his friends are cool with him now. They think that was bollocks. He doesn't hold a grudge to the little girl. I thought that was really touching, where he's like, he helps her. He holds her like for the first time.
I when I watched that, I still felt uncomfortable when he picked her up.
Yeah.
Because in that moment, like, no one is watching, I just felt like if someone came in at that moment, it's like a little party scene. If someone came in, like, how would they react?
Yeah.
You don't know. It's really interesting the fact that you don't see that.
Yeah. Well, I think the film obviously it builds on this idea of this kind of paranoia that I suppose he's got to live with, and you kind of get it as well. You feel very worried for him. You're like, maybe don't say that or do this. Stay the fuck away from them. Have you seen that comedy skit about Bill Burr and children?
No.
Oh, that's hilarious. Where he's like, pedophiles have ruined it for everybody. It was back in the day. Strange kid or whatever, you're like, tussle his hair. Nowadays, it's like, get that fucking thing away from me. Get the fuck away from me. Just kicking children away.
But I just found that, the fact that, someone from their hunting group still, because it's like a warning shot, isn't it? When someone takes a shot at him.
Yeah, well, he reloads. He reloads, and then he's like, you can't even see him. He's looking right at him. I think it was effective of just him completely covered in shadow, but it's like, glare and stuff. And then the guy runs.
But it kind of just shows you that no matter how many times he's proven not guilty, and the fact that pretty much everyone within that group likes him now and believes him now, there's always going to be someone that's still like, no, he's a paedophile. I don't care. I hate this dude. And it comes back to our conversation with Jodie Foster films with Contact, this element of truth, like truth and lies, like, with relationships, how no matter how strong relationships are you going to still believe them or not? It kind of has similar themes there with that, which I really, really liked. And it's just like, no matter how much evidence and proof that, you know, Mads has got to give, there's still going to be someone that's like, nah, I don't believe you. You're a paedophile. You know, it's really interesting. That. What did you think about that last shot?
Yeah, definitely. It is illuminating as the fact that
even though he's literally completely innocent,
he is completely innocent. Yeah. But it just doesn't matter. It's like you're not going to convince everybody.
Yeah.
You know, there are going to be people that think he's gotten away with it. You know, I think what we do is, you know, we have obviously the benefit of seeing it from his point of view, and we know he's innocent. But if we didn't see it from his point of view, can any one of us say we wouldn't like still try and like bring, quote unquote, bring him to justice? Again, you know, a lot of I'm not saying like don't believe this guy or don't believe that guy, or, you know, decide your own truth, I suppose. But it's like even a lot of them are dead fast. Like, no, the kids are telling the truth. Kids never lie. Kids sometimes lie, you know, or maybe they're telling the truth. It's just impossible to know, man.
It's just this whole thing of this could happen to anyone.
Yeah, of course. You know? I actually, what kind of really struck a chord with me is a couple months ago, I was walking with a friend of mine. Yeah, it must have been a couple months ago. Walking with a friend of mine at night, and some guy this homeless guy nearly punched this other guy that was walking behind us. And he was threatening to kill him and stuff like that. So, I don't know, we kind of interject to try and find out what's going on. And it turns out the guy talked to us, and he said somebody had been spreading a rumor that he's a pedophile. And, like, almost everybody wants to just kick his head in. Yeah? You know, he would just be walking, you know. So, I don't know. Like, I don't know the guy. So, I don't know if he's telling the truth. But, you know, that struck a chord with me, because I'm like, man, that would be fucking shit. You know, that would just piss me off. I would, you know, I want to burn the world down. And it's particularly troubling, you know, in these, you know, this day and age, because we know that these things occur, and more and more people come out, you know, with stories about this, which, you know, they should. But it changes the innocence of any kind of situation. You know what I mean? The fact that this happens means you're over-guarded, you're over-aware of it. Like, I come from a very kind of, this is getting quite personal now, but I come from a quite loving family, you know. Yeah. Like, you know, I hug my family hugs me, I hug children, you know, I'm quite, you know, this is just the thing I'm in, you know, we're very loving.
Yeah.
And that used to be fine, you know, that used to be 100%. You see everybody doing it. Nowadays, the more and more people you see, they think that's weird. You can't be too loving. Yeah. You know, because now it's got this, like, negative connotation. And you see the good guy here, Mad Mikkelsen, he's very much in that, you know, again, just, I think, loving mindset of, you know, of, like, he wouldn't even consider something like that. I wouldn't even consider something like that unless I watch a film like this. You know, it doesn't cross your mind. And so he's very playful with the kids, you know, grab them up, tussle them around, do whatever. Very loving. And that's, I suppose, what I would be like. And it just makes me think. That's why I think this film really kind of hit me hard. Because it's like, if I had that sort of reaction just for being, like I like, you know, I just, yeah, I don't know. That would just piss me off, man. That's just mortifying. It's horrible. That, you know.
And it's like, I think the film certainly says at the end that Mads Mikkelsen's character literally has to live with this for the rest of his life. That, you know, looking over his shoulder, that someone could take him out, you know, for something he never did. Have you got a favourite shot at all?
Yeah, so him burying the dog in the rain. I thought that was the best one. What's your favourite?
My favourite shot is probably a few moments before, right at the end, when someone takes a shot at him. There's, you know, when Lucas is walking down the ridge, you know, and the sun is coming down. It's just really nice. A silhouette's on him. It's just really beautifully shot, actually. Because you think it's just, the film is winding down, you know, very calmly, and it's like, oh, the guy's just going to walk off into the sunset or whatever, but then boom, you know, someone takes a shot at him. So directing, I would probably go with probably an 8.3. I think it's really masterly directed by Thomas Vinterberg.
Yeah. No, I agree. Definitely just squeezes as much out of the actors and out of the scenery as he can, and out of the tension and everything. It just feels very,
just very great real. Use of wide lenses in close-up shots, which you don't see very often, and a mix of tripod stuff and and good handheld.
Also, a good use of lighting, I think, as well. And I think it very much complements whatever scene happens to be there. The scenes early on in the film are very bright. There's a lot of light, and then it just gets more dank and dreary and gross, like the sort of worse areas of the film. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree.
And I do think that kind of it sort of brings out more of the more out of the film,
because there's a moment like the title card comes up when it's Christmas Eve, and like Mads Mikkelsen is like all certainly in his living room, and it's all very dark. And he's just on his own on Christmas Eve, and it just looks so depressing.
Yeah, there's a lot of scenes like that. Yeah.
What score would you give for directing then?
Yeah, maybe like a 8.6 or something.
Right, screenplay then. We've kind of covered.
Yeah, I think we've covered a lot of the screenplay. I don't think there's much case going over it too much. We'll just go over like lines that we quite liked, and then.
Yeah, I mean there is some levity and some humor. Like right at the start when they're all like swimming in the lake, and one guy jumps in. And he says, "Shit, I have cramp."
Yeah.
When he jumps in the lake, that was quite funny.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
that was quite a good Danish accent, I think.
No, not even close.
And it's interesting when, Fanny. I think one of the reasons why the audience and we love Fanny so much, the dog.
I love lots of Fanny, man. I love tons of Fanny.
I really should have thought about that before I said it. But Fanny, the dog.
No, I don't like dog Fanny, just human Fanny. No, sorry.
Right. The reason why we like the dog so much is because, like, every time Kirsten is mentioned, he barks a lot, which is quite funny.
I like the flirting with him and his co-worker. She's coming on really hard to him. I thought that was quite funny. I like the bit where she phones him, and then is like, "Why don't you ever call me?" And he's like, "Well, I don't have your number." No, what was it? She says, "Look at your screen. What's the number there?" "That's yours." "Okay, you have my number now." And he's like, and then she hangs up, and then he calls her, and he's like, "Hello," and she's like, "Who's this?"
Yeah, that was really sweet.
Yeah, I thought that was adorable.
I quite like the scene where, fairly early on in the film, where Lucas and his best friend Theo have like a heated exchange, about the situation, and Theo basically chucks him out. And then Clara says to his mum, Agnes, basically when she says, to her mum, I think she says something foolish. Now all the kids are talking, and it's just like her parents basically think she would never lie, and her mum basically convinces Clara that no, Lucas definitely assaulted you sexually, and it's just because there's this sense that that the mum Agnes just doesn't believe Clara at all, because of this fact that, which is drummed into the script, is that kids and Clara wouldn't lie about this thing that happened, and his mum convinces Clara that that this is the truth, we have to treat this seriously, but she's literally just telling her, no, I said something foolish. If you actually just listened to her, this whole thing would have changed.
Well, it's kind of hard because even like the psychologist says to, no, was it the psychologist or was it Greta? I can't remember. Or Greta was told it by the psychologist and then said it to her. Said it to Agnes that she might deny it because she might be embarrassed. of
definitely.
Like what happened. But no, she's like ashamed that she made up something, so she's admitting to it. But it's it kind of spirals out of control. But yeah, no, that was a good scene. You could tell. Before Agnes came up, they were trying to have like a proper conversation. I did feel so. It was very uncomfortable. It's meant to be. It's meant to be. And you can tell the dad doesn't really want to get into it. It's just like, oh my god, this is too much.
And then he basically loses it, and chucks him out.
Yeah. Well, Agnes first chucks him out, and then he goes off the rails. It's like that riles him up. Yeah. But yeah, and then also when towards the last bit, some good line delivery when they, when he's at the church, I thought that was really emotional. And he starts crying, and then he can hear like Agnes talking to his friend, and he basically is like just yelling at them, and then he punches him,
certainly after that scene, my favorite couple of lines, because obviously at that point, Theo kind of is on the verge of believing him, but you're not really told that clearly. But you kind of know when Theo smuggles some Christmas food to his house, and he goes over to Lucas's place, and Lucas says to him, "Oh, and he's eating the food quite quickly," and he says, "It's very nice. Now you can go home if you like." And then Theo says quite slowly and calmly, "No, actually, I'd like to stay for a while." It's just a great subtle way of saying, he believes him now. He's gonna be there for his best friend. He was wrong to not believe him. I thought it was just a really sweet moment from both of those two actors.
Yeah.
It's really, really touching for me. Have you got a favorite line?
The only thing I can think of is where he does get like properly assaulted in the in the shop.
Oh yeah.
That was by the bloody
butcher.
Yeah, the butcher. Yeah, because he wants two chops of meat, and the guy's like, no, and he keeps like, no, I'm getting 2 chops of meat, and he comes over and just floors
Gives him a headbutt.
Yeah. Well, no, first Mad Mikkelsen gets the crap beaten out of him and then dragged out, and he keeps wanting the rest of his shopping. No, I've got some shopping. They throw him out, and he just walks straight in, and they come and confront him. And he goes, I've got something to tell you. And then, bang, he just headbutts him in the nose.
Well, no, he headbutts the guy, and then he says to someone else, "Can I get my stuff?"
Yeah, that was it.
Really casually.
I like that, yeah. Can I have my groceries?
I've never seen...
I like that. Yeah, that was it. Like, it's something, can I have my groceries, please?
I've never seen a headbutt so satisfying.
Yeah, that was a really satisfying.
While. That was great. Yeah. So, screenplay, what are you going to give it? Oh, I'll go first, because it's yours.
All right, you go first.
Yeah, I really like it, to be fair. I think, again, I just like this element of this theme of truth and lies that certainly a few films that we've covered now.
Yeah.
I really like that. So I'd probably go 8.6, I think, for screenplay. How about you?
Yeah, I think I might go something similar. Yeah, maybe like an 8.7.
All right, acting then. First thing I got to say... Love a load of drunk Danish guys, to be fair. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Do to be honest, was that an attempt at a Danish accent? Because no.
It's my normal voice.
Is that your normal voice? Oh, I was just going to say it's better than your Danish accent, but
All right. Fine.
It's closer to Danish than whatever the fuck you did like a few minutes ago.
I thought it was bloody good. Anyway, I expect all our listeners thinks it's good.
Yeah. Hello, hard to the listeners. By the way, I heard most of them are from Hawaii or something.
Yeah, we have a lot of fairly big following in Hawaii.
That's pretty cool.
which is cool. In the beginning, there's a great moment from Susie Wald, who plays Greta. It's really great in the scene where the therapist is like questioning Clara, and she kind of gradually, and the shot, it kind of like stays on Greta a few times, and you kind of see this gradual, controlled look of disgust, and then it's amazing when Clara keeps describing what happened, and then she just completely loses control and like throws up. It's just this great performance of just trying to keep her cool as much as she can. Until I can't do it anymore. I gotta throw up.
Yeah,
I thought it was quite a great piece of acting there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I think all around quite, even minor characters get really good performances. His son does a really good job.
Marcus,
it's
amazing.
Yeah, he does a really good job. A lot of his friend as well, Clara's dad. There's quite a lot of solid performances here. I mean,
I love Marcus when he goes to Theo and Agnes's house, just because he's locked out of Lucas's home, and you can tell on his face there's a lot of like, uptight anger, and he lets it all out at the end of that scene, and it's just it's really uncomfortable and just really remarkable, like the anger he goes through, and he even like spits at Clara. I think it's just like, whoa. I think because there's that balance of just like, yeah, you're with Marcus, then you're like, oh shit, I'm like, actually, hang on, is he going? He's going way too far here.
Yeah.
You know, it's quite remarkable that scene actually of like, yeah, you're with Marcus, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, hang on a minute.
Yeah, I think
sure.
it's like it's hard to be completely like non-sympathetic to most of the characters. It's like, do you know what I mean?
Because this whole situation is built on a lie.
It is, and from a sweet little girl who did not mean to do any of this nonsense. And
no,
and I suppose Marcus losing his shit a bit. It's like it is her fault, really. So maybe he would be like all that. Yeah,
right. Yeah, still.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
It is
just
horrible.
a horrible situation for everyone.
Yeah, it's a horrible situation. I mean, like, nobody gets spared. As I was saying, like, you even think of Clara's dad. I mean, what the hell is he supposed to believe? And, this is his best friend as well. But things are getting so bad for Mads Mikkelsen, Lucas, and that you're like, this is just unbearable. And it's like, it's hard to know. It's like, even when in the church scene, like, he's breaking down and he punches the guy. You're like... Yeah. I'm not exactly sure, I can tell you're frustrated, and it is kind of his fault, but he doesn't think he's doing the wrong thing here, and you just punched him in a church, so it's like...
Yeah, let's talk about the church scene a bit more. I think this is the scene of the film for me. It absolutely extraordinary acting from both Mads Mikkelsen and Thomas Larsson, who plays Theo. Just quite incredible, It's just such an uncomfortable atmosphere.
Especially like when he grabs his face, he's like, look into my eyes.
Theo is just not reacting at all. He just, as much as possible, because in that moment he's just like, yeah, I think I'm with Theo here, but I don't want to admit it to everyone in this room, because he doesn't react. He doesn't try and punch back.
No.
He just takes the punches. But moments, because there's this incredible looks that Mads and Thomas Larsson give each other, and Thomas is just like really confused, of why is Mads here, what's going on, and Mads is basically just looking at him, just trying to look into his eyes, like, where is he at? Where are each of these characters at in relation to each other? And it's just really interesting. And there's a line that Agnes says to Theo, and she says, oh, what's wrong? And then Theo says, I can tell by looking at him. And then it cuts back to Mads, and you're like, oh, what's he saying? And what does he mean by that? And it's just a really ambiguous question that says, does Theo believe him now? And the looks between them, as I said, is just so powerful. And then as, they confront, and in that moment, you're like, yeah, Theo believes him now, I think. Did you get that sense as well?
Yeah, I got a sense of, Theo came around, he kind of knows. But, he's in a it's a rough situation. It's like not only admitting it, trying to explain to his wife it or whatever, just this feeling. And then, ultimately he's got to have this view that, I suppose my little girl, who I said would never lie, is lying. I don't know. It's quite a lot he's going through at this moment. And also, feeling sympathy for his friend who is just cut up. He's in, like, he's been punched, he's been beaten, his dog's dead, and looking at him all on his lonesome. There's a lot going on there. And
just incredible acting.
Mads is breaking down as well. I think before he breaks down, he has like a little chuckle, like, this is just fucking crazy. So there's just a whole range of emotions. You're like, what is going on? And it just, it was going to happen, but he confronts his friend in a very matter of fact, grabbing him basically and slapping the crap out of him. Just like,
see what he's trying to get a reaction out of him. He's just like, believe me, damn it.
Exactly. Tell everyone here, just believe me, Christ, Yeah.
Acting score for me, I'm going to put this very high. I think this is the strongest element of the film. The actors in this are incredible. So I'm probably going to go like 9.6, I think, for acting.
Yeah, I think that's just pretty good one.
Mads Mikkelsen, I don't think I've ever seen a performance like this from him in any film that he's done. Incredible for me. 9.6.
Yeah, he goes through the entire spectrum like a couple of times, actually. definitely
Yeah.
feel like you've gone through the ringer.
2 times over.
Yeah, you're like, Jesus Christ, man. So yeah, I think maybe I'd go like a 9.4 or something like that.
Favorite performance?
Mads.
Yeah, same. Mads
yeah.
Mikkelsen. I think he's amazing.
Yeah. I think, I think, as I said before, a lot of really solid performances. I think especially the other two, I think the two standout ones for me, besides Mads, are, his friend, Clara's dad. He's definitely high up on that list, and Marcus. But Mads, I think, tops that list.
Right, let's add up the scores then for The Hunt.
Which has nothing to do with hunting, by the way. I was expecting, I suppose there's hunting at the end. Yeah, really. Actually, I knew nothing about this film going in, which is unique with films to me because I spoil the hell out of them. Like I know them inside and out before I've actually watched them. And with a title like this, I thought it was him and his friends go to a hunting trip and then they get hunted or something.
But it's kind of like this subconscious hunting, if you will.
Yeah.
Like from all these characters, they just want to.
Yeah.
They cut. Well, they very much cast him out. They chuck him out of the grocery store, and they don't want anything to do with him. But really, they want to just hit the guy.
Yeah,
and,
it's definitely horrible. Like he's the deer in this situation. He's just being absolutely because literally just like a deer, I suppose. He's done nothing. He's minding his own business.
Yeah,
he's completely innocent.
Yeah, right. The score for The Hunt is 53.2, so The Hunt wins this one from The Salvation pretty convincingly, and as The Salvation only got 48.2. The Hunt wins this week. Next week, we'll be talking Zack Snyder films, as there's just this little independent 4-hour film that's coming onto the internet. It features like Batman and some guy called Superman as well. Some few other friends. A lot of people very obsessed with this. I think for some reason I don't. Yeah.
Is it Amazing Woman is in it as well? And the fish or the fish.
The fish.
The fish or something. I don't know. Whatever.
And a Martian.
And a Martian. Yeah. Oh my god, I'm so excited to finally see Martian Manhunter. On the big screen. I think he's only going to be in it like...
small screen.
Well, small screen, yeah, I suppose. But like maybe he's just going to be in it for like 30 seconds or whatever. But, it's cool that he's going to be in the...
Yeah, same. So as Zack Snyder's Justice League will be hitting HBO Max for American audiences. Over here, I think it'll be Sky Cinema, Sky Store or something. VOD with a price attached to it. Zack Snyder films for next week. Thank you, Boaz, as always. I'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye. That's it for this week's pod. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to find out more about the podcast or suggest future topics for us to discuss related to upcoming releases, let us know on Instagram at Film vs. Film Podcast or on Twitter at FVF_podcast. Remember, please subscribe. Pod signing off.